ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशव वामन कृष्ण पाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। From today onwards, we'll be entering into a very, very important work, which is a very important part of our scriptures and which has been blessed by our Parama Puja Sadyojat Shankarashrama Swamiji. And he has asked me for the next, I don't know how many weeks, it may be a long time study, it may go on for some time. He's asked me to do Vishnusahasranama Vichara. So this is going to be the topic of our Vedanta study. Here Vishnusahasranama Stotra is, we are not doing the Parayana here. Yes, Parayana is done. It is said that to get the Jnana Yogyata Prapti, one should do certain kind of upasanas, certain kind of karmas. And it is said that Vishnusahasranamam is something which a person, a Vaidika or a Mumukshu should chant every day. So it is said that Swashakha Upanishad, Swashakha means whichever Veda we belong to, that particular Veda's one Upanishad, Vishnoho Nama Sahasrakam, that is Vishnu Sahasranama, Bhagavad Gita and Rudram. These four, at least one of them. Swashakhopanishad, Vishnur Nama Sahasrakam, then Bhagavad Gita, then our Bhagavad Gita, Rudram, one more is there, Purusha Suktam. These five are supposed to be very, very useful for upasana, for a person to get the capacity and the Jnana Yogyata to enter into Vedanta. And let us first, right now I'm not going into the Vishnusahasranama, I'm just going to give you a basic, this session will be only a basic introduction as to why do we give so much of importance to Sahasranamas. What is a Sahasranama? What does it depict? And right now I'm not going to go into Sahasranama details at all. But as to Sahasranama is something. There are so many Sahasranamas. Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, Shiva Sahasranama, Ganapati Saraswat Sahasranama, Gayatri Sahasranama. So many Sahasranamas are there. Now, What is the purpose of understanding this or studying this or even chanting this? For most of the people, our scriptures say chanting of a Sahasranama is sufficient to give you Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Naishchalyam. And chanting of a Sahasranama is taken as an upasana to develop the expansion of the mind and also the subtlety of the intellect and the expansion of the intellect and Naishchalyam, Chitta Naishchalyam, sufficient enough to make my intellect ready for receiving Advaita Jnana. But what we are doing here in Sahasranama, Vishnusahasranama is a detailed vichara. A vichara means what? Studying every name of this particular Sahasranama and seeing how it fits ultimately into the Advaitic teaching of Vedanta. So right now we'll keep the Vishnusahasranama Stotra Vichara from the point of view of what we have studied, the Advaita so many for the last 4 years. Right now we will keep it aside for some time and we'll go into the general aspects of what are the types of connecting oneself to Ishvara. And that's important because Vishnu Sahasranama or any Sahasranama ultimately makes us connect with the total, connect with Ishvara. So now, let us understand what is the meaning of connecting to the total, connecting to Ishvara, what is Ishvara, what is bhakti. Let us look into that, the most common things, before we, endeavor into the study of the Sahasranama. Now, if you remember, in Bhagavad Gita, in the 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga, Lord Krishna talked about 3 levels of bhakti or 3 levels or 3 stages in which a mumukshu can connect oneself to the total. What Bhagwan said was that whatever Brahman Atma, which is the ultimate reality, Paramarthika Satyam is what? Ultimate reality is this Brahman. Atma, Brahman, this Chaitanya Atma is the ultimate reality, the ultimate Adhishtanam, the ultimate support of everything that is there. Everything that is here that I am perceiving, including this body, mind, sense complex, there is one consciousness, there is one existence, which is the subtlest of the subtle. We have seen it in just the previous Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad we studied. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan, subtlest of the subtle. Sarvagatam. That Brahman Atma which is Sarvagatam, absolutely subtle, that which is not an object of my mind and sense organs, that which is absolutely very, very subtly spread all over. And the purpose of Upanishads is to make a mumukshu understand that the ultimate reality behind all the perceivable, perceptible names and forms is nothing but this Paramarthika Satyam, Brahma Atma. And that Brahmatma is nothing but I, which we have already seen in all the Upanishads and especially in the Kaivalya Upanishad, which we saw recently. But how many of us are capable of connecting to that Nirgunam, Nirvishesham, Sukshmam, Sarvagatam, Indriya Agocharam Brahma? How many of us are capable of that? Though we know we want to understand that, it is difficult. It is not easy for us to connect to that Brahman, though we have studied the Upanishads so far. We have studied the basic texts of Vedanta. but it is not very easy to fathom, to understand, because we are not prepared for that as we should be. Then, if we have to be prepared for this, receiving this knowledge or understanding what the Upanishads are trying to tell us about this Nirgunam, Nirvishesham, Nirakaram Brahma, what we call as Nirgunam Brahma, which is really the ultimate adhishtanam or the ultimate stuff of everything that we are seeing. But we are not able to perceive it at present. So, what does Krishna say? Lord Krishna in Bhakti Yoga in 12th chapter, he says, see, there are two stages before this. So he says, the first stage is what is called as Ekarupa Ishwara Bhakti or Ekarupa Ishwara Darshana. That is my small window towards the total. I'm incapable of seeing the whole universe as manifestation of Ishvara. I'm unable to see that subtlest of the subtle Atma, Brahman, that consciousness as everything that is there. So what do? I need an alambanam. I need something to hold on to, which will, in a remote way, connect me to that total. Fine? So, initially, I hold on to a particular form of that Brahman. Brahman with Maya, which is called as Ishvara, which is the total, Samashti, can manifest itself in many forms. Avatars are nothing but the manifestation. It is not something that is born like a body and comes. No. It is a manifestation. May look as if Rama was born, Krishna was born from a human womb, but it is a manifestation. So, Bhagwan or Ishvara can manifest, Brahman can manifest the total Ishvara or what we call as God. What do we mean by God? We call it by so many names. We say God, we say the higher intelligence, we say Lord, we say Ishvara. All these are our terms for that total. And Brahman being the reality of the total, but that which cannot be comprehended by us. Slowly the Upanishads tell us that prepare yourself by first, like let's take Gita first, then we'll go to the other Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, first you hold on to Ekarupa Ishwara Bhakti, where one particular form of that same Brahman, which is suitable to my temperament, which I am naturally attracted towards, may it be Shiva, may it be Rama, may it be Krishna, or it is Devi, Ganapati, Hanuman, whatever it is. I might be attracted towards a particular form, and that form is not different from Brahman, that is a manifestation of Brahman. And Lord Krishna says that you may worship me, the Atma, through any form, any name you want. Whichever form you hold on to and worship me or connect to me. What is the meaning of worship? Connecting. However, in whichever form you connect to me, with whichever form, I will receive it ultimately. And ultimately, I will give you the phalam of your prayer through that particular name and form itself. That is Ekarupa Ishwara Bhakti or Ekarupa Ishwara Darshanam. I am comfortable with one alambanam, with one form, and I connect to that form in various ways. Either in a kayika way by offering pujas, in the vachika way by chanting the name of that particular Lord or singing stutis of that particular form. There are so many Puranic stories. We read Bhagavatam, Puranam, so many Puranams. Or we may chant the Ashtottara of that particular deity which we want. Chant the Sahasranama of that particular deity which we want. So, kayikataya, by body, by offering prayers, offering worship, puja. Then, vachikataya, by chanting the name of the Lord, stutis of the Lord, stotras of the Lord, which Bhagavan Shankaracharya has written so many Saguna Ishvara stotras of different deities. Then Manasika, where we do japa on that particular deity. We may take the japa from a guru, or I might make a sankalpa myself that I'm going to do, Manasika Vichara or japa on this particular deity. And that particular deity becomes useful for me to offer all my actions as offering and accepting all the karma phala as prasada. So, that initial holding on to one form, connecting to that one form, which is called as connecting to Ishvara with one particular form. That's my window, one small window I'm looking out and connecting to Ishvara through this particular form. Through this particular form. So, a Vaishnavite might connect as Vishnu, a Shaivite will connect as Shiva, a Rama Bhakta will connect to that Ishvara as Rama. The deity does not matter. The deity is just for me a support initially. And bhakti is what? Surrender is what? Connecting to that particular form as everything. Connecting to that particular form as an upadhi, that is also an upadhi. A form of God is also an upadhi, like I have this upadhi, this particular body, mind, sense complex. Initially, since I cannot see beyond the upadhi, I use the upadhi of a particular deity, connect to that deity, and that connection with the total, with Ishvara through a particular form, and connecting with it in my own way, where I'm connected to the deity physically, verbally, and mentally. That is called as Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti. Helps me in offering all my actions and my karma yoga initially, it helps me. But Lord Krishna does not stop there. Lord Krishna goes to the next level called as Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakti. Starting from the 7th chapter onwards up till the end of the 12th chapter, he goes to the second stage called as the Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakti. What is the meaning of Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakti? He says, I see the whole universe as the manifestation of Ishvara. I call that Ishvara, okay, at present we'll call it God. Ishvara does not mean Shiva only. Ishvara means what we call as God or Lord, or that's something which is higher and more powerful than us. Let us call it God. Let us call it Lord. Okay, the vision of God, how we visualize God. In Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti, my vision is that of a limited form of God, like Hanuman or Ganapati or whatever it is. But in Vishwaroopa Ishvara Bhakti, where Bhagwan Krishna spends almost totally 6 chapters, out of which 5 are actually, especially 2 of them, the 10th chapter and the 11th chapter, are totally, kind of delegated to, or totally, they are given to the Vishwaroopa Ishvara. To such an extent that Bhagwan Krishna says, wherever you see anything glorious, think that it is me. Isn't it? Don't we remember the 10th chapter where he says, I'm the Himalaya among this one. I'm the Meru among all the, mountains which are hidden. I'm that Himavat Himalaya in that all the manifest mountains. I'm the, the highest Rishi in the Rishi Ganas. I'm the Ganga among all these rivers. So what does Krishna want to say here? That wherever you see something powerful, something glorious, anything, that is me. Wherever there is glory, wherever there is anything worth recognizing, that recognition and that glory belongs to me, Ishvara. So Krishna says, I as the total, I as Ishvara manifest as everything in this world. Okay. Then in the 11th chapter, he shows his Vishwaroopa Darshana where he says, I am everything. Every upadhi is my upadhi. Every head is my head. In Purusha Sukta also it is Sahasra Shirsha, Sahasrapat. I have thousands of heads. All the heads are my upadhis. All the eyes are my upadhis. All the hands and feet are my hands and feet. I manifest as this entire universe. Lord Krishna says that in me the universes are born. In me the universes are existing. In me the universes are just being swallowed by me. Arjuna sees all this. All the diks means all the directions are nothing but filled by Lord Krishna's form, Vishwaroopa form. So what Lord wants to say is, Bhagavan Krishna wants to say is, one has to progress from Ekarupa Ishwara Bhakti or Darshanam to Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakti, where one sees everything as nothing but the manifestation of Lord. Everything is Ishvara. Sarvam Ishvara Mayam Jagat. The whole universe is nothing but Ishvara. A river, nothing but Ishvara in the form of water. Panchabhutas, nothing but Ishvara in the form of those elements. The elemental body, nothing but the manifestation in the form of the body of Ishvara. Everything is nothing but a manifestation of Ishvara. And Bhagwan Krishna gives more importance to this. He doesn't talk much about Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti at all. He only says that you can connect to me in any form, and in whichever form you connect me and pray to me, I will give you the results through that form only. Because ultimately, what is prayer? Prayer is nothing but, a karma. It is a karma. I pray for something. I pray very, very, awarefully, oh God, hey my God, whoever it is, my Krishna, please take me out of this problem. Give me the capacity to go through this, whatever it is. Prayer is a karma. And every karma gets a karma phala. And Ishvara is the karma phala data. That is why Ishvara is also called as Bhagavan. What is the meaning of Bhagavan? We saw that Bhagavan is one who has the six bhagas. Six bhagas. That which is the ultimate in everything. I may have some strength, but that is a very small aspect. Ultimate strength is Ishvara's strength, God's strength. Therefore, Bhagavan or Ishvara, who has the six bhagas, six kind of exalted mahimas, samagra jnanam, all knowledge is Ishvara's in the form of the laws of Ishvara. Therefore, what my little knowledge I have in my brain is nothing but a small aspect of that knowledge. It is that Ishvara, all knowledge of Ishvara, samagra jnanam, all knowledge. In every intellect of every jiva, there is a manifestation of that particular knowledge in a small reflection form. That's it. So, sarva samagra jnanam, samagra viryam, all the bala, viryam means bala, all the strength that is there belongs to Ishvara. See the strength in the Vayu in the form of a Chakravata or a cyclone. We have seen that recently, isn't it? What is the balam? What is the viryam that is there in the rain? What is the balam, viryam in waters, in all the five elements? Where is that balam or viryam coming? Where is it coming from? It is coming from Ishvara. Samagra viryam. Samagra yashas. All that glory, yashas, success belongs to Ishvara. Nothing belongs to me. Individual belongs to Ishvara. Samagra Aishwaryam, all the overlordship. If there is any kind of a king or an overlordship, it is nothing but Ishvara. Overlordship, Ishvara is high, highest, the greatest of the Chakravartis. Because Aishwaryam, Samagram Aishwaryam. That Aishwaryam or overlord, that which is the overlordness of Ishvara, the very Shasaka, the very Niyanta of everything in this world is nothing but Ishvara's Samagra Aishwaryam. Samagra Shri, all the resources belong to Ishvara. This whole universe, whatever are the resources in any form, are Ishvara's resources. Samagra Shri, Samagra Vairagyam. When everything belongs to me, I don't need anything. There is a natural, what you call as, vairagyam towards that. There is a natural detachment towards that. Everything belongs to Ishvara. Ishvara doesn't have to grab anything from somebody else or somewhere else. Therefore, there is absolute vairagyam towards whatever is. This is Bhagavan. This is Ishvara. This is God. And Bhagavan Krishna says, if you can connect to me, Ishvara, as Vishwaroopa Ishwara, if you can start seeing me in everything that is there around you, everything that is there around you is nothing but Ishvara. It is nothing but a manifestation of Ishvara. Every jiva is Ishvara. Every non-living being is Ishvara. Everything that I have is nothing but Ishvara. This body is Ishvara given. Everything is given. There's nothing which I can call as mine. This body is given to me because of my prarabdha or whatever it is, but as karma phala data, with my prarabdha, this particular body is given to me. Ishvara has given me the desha kala vartamana of where I am born, in which kind of a situation, in which kind of a family, my parentage, my brain, my internal capacity for, doing things or understanding things, everything is given. I don't have to feel very proud about the fact that I'm very intelligent. No, that intelligence is given. Everything is given. And when I see that everything that is here is nothing but Ishvara, then what does Lord Krishna say? Chitta Shuddhi becomes easier. Chitta Naishchalyam becomes easier. Because when I see everything as Ishvara, I see that nothing belongs to me. Nothing is my glory. It is all given. It is all the sankalpa of Ishvara. Therefore, manitvam I will not have. Manitvam and dambitvam, that pride in myself and my achievements. Oh, I'm so beautiful. I'm not responsible. It's Ishvara given. Oh, I have got so many talents in me. Ishvara given. I am so intelligent. Ishvara is given that. So, whenever I see any glory in myself and somebody else, I see that glory or that capacity as nothing but Ishvara's glory. Ishvara's glory. So, manitvam doesn't come in me. I don't get that pride and that conceitedness to think that, look, I am so great. Manitvam and dambitvam, which Lord Krishna talks about in the 13th chapter. And he says, Amanitvam, Adambitvam, 21 values Lord Krishna talks about. 2 for the maturity of the mind, to remove the kleshas of the mind. And what is the best form or the best way of connecting to God, where all these kind of manitvam, dambitvam, etc. are automatically cleared. I see Ishvara as the glory everywhere. Whatever is here, whatever is happening, whatever glory is there, is nothing but the manifestation of Ishvara. So, overrating myself, having that conceitedness, having that pride about myself goes. When I see the same glory in others, I learn to appreciate it as Ishvara's glory. And I don't have any kind of a mother or matsarya, jealousy, hate. Dvesha is not there. What is the reason for my dvesha of other somebody else? Comparing myself as to what I have, what I don't have, what somebody else has, which I don't have. But when I see everything as the glory of Ishvara, what belongs to me is Ishvara's. What belongs to that somebody else is also Ishvara's. That is not his or hers. What I have is not mine, it is Ishvara's. So when I can see anything that I excel in, or anything that somebody excels in, as nothing but the glory of Ishvara, then this smallness of the mind goes. That I am so and so, I am so, that smallness goes. And I'm able to accommodate other people. I'm able to accommodate other people for their goodness, for their good values, for their glories, without having any kind of a negative feeling. I'm able to accept myself and others also as I am, because I know that I'm nothing but the manifestation of Ishvara. Therefore, Lord Krishna also gives more importance to Vishwaroopa Ishwara Darshana, which is helpful in removing many of these kleshas that are there in the mind, which helps me in developing those values which are very important as a mumukshu, amanitvadi. And also, when I see the whole universe as nothing but Ishvara, my mind expands. The expansion of the intellect is very important to receive the knowledge of that all pervasive Brahman. With my limited intellect now, all pervasive Brahman. Brahma means what? Bra dhatu, which means big, very big. With my small intellect, I cannot fathom that big, that Brahman, which is all pervasive, everywhere. There is nothing other than Brahman. I cannot perceive it. Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakti or Ishwara Darshana, when I connect to Ishwara as the whole universe, this whole universe is you. I see you, O Lord, in everything. Every moment I see you. In everything I see you. I experience your presence in everything that is around me. When this connection is there with Ishvara, when this bhakti is there with Ishvara, then surrender becomes natural, because everything is Ishvara. Surrender, I don't have to try to surrender. Automatically there is surrender. Automatically there is bhakti par excellence, because I accept that it is only Ishvara, nothing else. And with that expansion of the mind, I am able to understand the ultimate reality, which is called as Brahman by our scriptures. That all pervasive, that subtle Brahman which has to be comprehended, has to be comprehended by an intellect which is subtle, which is expanded enough, and which is capable of surrendering to that total. What is the meaning of surrender? It's not just falling down and saying, "Oh Lord, I surrender to you." No, that's not it. Surrender is that when I recognize the presence of Ishvara everywhere, and when I recognize that nothing can happen without Ishvara. Anything and everything that is happening is nothing but Ishvara's laws, Ishvara's intelligence. Anything that is going on is nothing but Ishvara Sankalpa. So when I see Ishvara everywhere, I see the glory of Ishvara everywhere, my surrender is effortless. Effortless surrender. That I am the one who's doing, is not there. That individuality slowly starts melting away. Though this limitation is there of the upadhi, though this limited upadhi is there, still then my intellect is subtle enough, sufficiently expanded enough to be able to concentrate upon what I am to receive as the ultimate reality talked about by the scriptures. And that is Brahman. And the final stage, which Bhagwan Krishna talks about from the 13th chapter to the 18th chapter, is Arupa Ishvara Darshanam or Nirguna Ishvara or Brahma Darshanam. So the three stages which Bhagavad Gita takes us through is Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti, Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakti, and Brahma or Arupa or Nirguna Brahma Drishti or Bhakti. Bhakti means your knowing, understanding. That is it. So, therefore, when in 12th chapter, Bhagwan Krishna talks about 5 levels. First, he talks about the highest Parabhakti or Jnani Bhakta as the one who understands this Brahman, Paramarthika Satyam, Nirguna Brahman as the reality. And then he says, if you are not able to understand this, please come down one level. See me as this whole universe. See me as I have taught you in the 11th chapter and the 10th chapter. Remember that all the vibhutis in this jagat are nothing but me. All that is flowing because of me. All that is walking because of me. All that is doing any job is happening because of me. When you see, he says, if you're not able to fathom the ultimate Paramarthika Satyam as Brahman, come one step lower to Vishwaroopa Ishwara Darshanam. If you are not able to do that also, come down to Ekarupa Ishwara Bhakti or Darshanam. If that also you are finding it difficult, go to the 4th stage where you offer all your karmas to your Ishtadevata. To me, he says. 5th stage, if you cannot offer your karmas, at least give up the attachment to karma phala. Accept the karma phala as my prasada. Start there, the first step. The first step is that, where I give up the karma phala attachment, accept karma phala as Ishvara prasada. So Bhagwan Krishna goes from the 5th level to the 1st level, step by step by step by step, he comes down. And what is this Vishwaroopa Ishwara Darshana that we are talking about? This Vishwaroopa Ishwara Darshana is one of the ways in which the Sahasranamas help us. All the Sahasranamas, the 1,000 names of a particular deity or particular Ishwara's anything, any Sahasranama, ultimately it talks about nothing but the Vishwaroopa Darshanam of Ishvara, where it gives me a capacity to expand my mind to see Ishvara in its various forms. Ishvara manifesting in various forms, in thousands of forms. And therefore, our scriptures are talking about it in many ways. Number one, Sahasranamas is one of the important ways of connecting to Ishvara as Vishwaroopa Ishwara Darshana. That is also an upasana, no doubt. But Sahasranama chanting, not only chanting, a time should come when we should be able to do the vichara as we are going to do now, as to go into the depth of each name, what it suggests. So our scriptures give us Sahasranamas of Ishvara in various forms, various deities, where we find the same summary, that God, which I have taken in a particular form, is nothing but Ishvara, can manifest in thousands of forms. That's why we have very, very, very common names. In most of the Sahasranamas, there are very, very common names. Very few specific names are there, no doubt, depending upon the manifestation or the upadhi. So a Sahasranama is the best way of connecting to Ishvara, the total, to enable me to go on to a Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakta or Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakti Darshanam. This helps me. Another thing which we have a similar one, where we can connect to the total as everything is Rudram, Shatarudriyam. We have seen that in our mat, every day Shatarudriyam is chanted. Isn't it? Every day it is chanted. By the Vedikas, it is chanted every day. Shatarudriyam. When the Rudrabhisheka is done, it is chanted. What is Shatarudriyam? It is like another Sahasranama only, where Shiva, as Lord Shiva, as Rudra, as is represented as everything in this universe. To the extent that in Rudram, even a thief, a murderer, a dacoit also is taken as Ishvara Swarupa, Rudra Swarupa. Rain, Rudra Swarupa. Indra, Rudra Swarupa. Famine, Rudra Swarupa. So in the entire Rudram, what do we find? In entire Rudram, we find nothing but that Lord Shiva manifesting as the entire universe, which is equivalent to Sahasranama. That is again, chanting helps me as an upasana, no doubt about it. But vichara of Rudram, vichara of Sahasranama helps me in making my mind more capable, subtle, and expanded enough to receive the ultimate message of Vedanta. And what is the ultimate message of Vedanta? There is one indivisible consciousness, which is the stuff with which the entire universe is made. What is available to us in the form of perceivable names and forms is a mere manifestation of that consciousness. The Paramarthika Satyam, Chaitanyam, is not available for perception. It is Indriya Agocharatvat. And to understand this ultimate truth of the universe, ultimate truth, Brahma Satyam, ultimate truth of this universe, I have to make myself prepared. And that is why Lord Krishna dedicates a lot of time, a lot of verses for Vishwaroopa Darshanam. So Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakti is my way of connecting to the total, to Ishvara, by appreciating the fact that everything that is here is nothing but Ishvara. I already said that Ishvara and Brahman They are taken as Paryaya Padas. Pure consciousness which is not available for perception, we call it as Atma Brahman. But when this consciousness associated with Maya Shakti manifests itself into millions of forms, then it is called as Ishvara. And connecting to this Vishwaroopa Ishwara is a very important part of a mumukshu's journey. That is why, if you remember, in Kaivalya Upanishad, which we finished recently, the last two verses talked about what? Shatarudriyam adhita. They said, may you study, may you do the chant the Shatarudriyam. Why? Those who are Uttama Adhikaris may be able to understand what is being told in the Upanishad. But for the sake of Madhyama Adhikaris, for the sake of Manda Adhikaris, the Upanishad says, the Kaivalya Upanishad says that please worship Lord Rudra. We have seen that, isn't it? Exactly the last two verses of Kaivalya Upanishad tell a Madhyama Adhikari and a Manda Adhikari. Of course, we are not talking about here a Manda Adhikari, because a Manda Adhikari still needs Ekarupa Ishwara Bhakti, and he has to go to the next level of Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakti. But here, those who are Madhyama Adhikaris, those who are serious mumukshus, those who are able to really, those who have already made the Purushartha Nishchaya, Moksha Purushartha Nishchaya, where, I have to get that knowledge. That's my ultimate goal. But right now, I'm not prepared for it. So the Kaivalya Upanishad says, come down. May you do the chanting and the vichara of Shatarudriyam. And what is Shatarudriyam going to give me? Chanting itself gives me the punya. And chanting itself gives me the capacity to go further into the vichara. Vichara means what? What is the meaning of each word? What is it that this word is trying to connect me to? So when I do the Shatarudriya Parayana, Shatarudriya Vichara, that is one of the ways I can prepare my mind for receiving the knowledge that is talked about in the Kaivalya Upanishad. Similarly, other Upanishads also, like in Chandogya Upanishad, we have 8 chapters, out of which the 5 chapters are upasanas. The 5 chapters are these connecting to the total, connecting to Ishvara. Seeing that the whole world is nothing but the manifestation of that Ishvara. And Ishvara taken in various forms. In Katopanishad we saw Omkara as an alambanam for Omkara Upasana, and then Omkara as Omkara Vichara, the way it is done in Mandukya Upanishad, etc. We saw Bhagwan Yamadharmaraja tells Nachiketa, look, you have to initially hold on to an alambanam. Nothing better than Omkara. Initially as chanting, Omkara as chanting for Upasana. Omkara Upasana. And then Omkara Vichara as Advaita Vichara. In Katopanishad we see this. Connecting to the total with Omkara. Omkara Upasana. In Chandogya Upanishad we see the Upasanas relating to total to Ishvara, connecting, Vishwaroopa Upasanas we see in other Upanishads also. Bhagavad Gita we see that connecting to this whole or Ishvara, trying to see the whole universe as nothing but Ishvara's manifestation. So when I'm able to connect to the total, and the total is nothing but manifesting as this whole universe, that's all. Nothing else. It is just that it is manifesting as this universe. And therefore, Sahasranamas are one of the ways. Sahasranama can be taken as an alambanam to enable me to become a Vishwaroopa Ishwara Bhakta for Vishwaroopa Ishwara Darshan. I can use the Sahasranama for mere chanting, no problem. I can use it as an upasana, where I chant the Purva Bhaga, I do the Nyasam, I do the Dhyana Shlokas, and then I chant the entire Parayana of that Sahasranama, and then I do the, that later on, the Uttara Bhaga also, after that Phalam, the Phalashruti, etc. It is a type of, Parayanam. Saptashati Parayanam. We do that, isn't it? In Dasara, we do that Saptashati Parayanam, we do. Lalita Sahasranama Parayanam, we do. Good. Parayanam is essential, very important. Because in Parayana, what are we doing? We are using all our three karnas. That is, we are using our body, we are using our speech, we are using our mind to connect to that deity. So by chanting, before chanting, we are doing the Purva Bhaga, we are offering some pujas, and then we are chanting. Before that, we are using the Dhyana Shlokas, where we are connecting to that deity with our minds, with our intellect, and then we are chanting. So Kayika, Vachika, Manasa Karma is happening in the form of chanting of Sahasranamas, which is one of the wonderful upasanas to prepare my intellect for receiving this knowledge of Brahman. And later on, I have to go to what is the meaning of this. If 1,000 names are talking about one Ishvara, 1,000 names means what? Ishvara can be seen, can be represented, can be understood, can be absorbed in 1,000 ways. 1,000 means it doesn't mean only 1,000, in millions of ways. Sahasranama as 1,000 is just because it has to have some number, 1,008 names, 108 names, Ashtottara 108. Then Sahasranama 1,008. So what is it helping me to do? It is helping me to see Ishvara in thousands of ways that Ishvara is manifesting. Isn't it? So my Vedanta Guru used to say that, don't worry about Nirguna Brahman. Learn to connect with Ishvara as everything. That is enough. That is enough. Automatically, the Nirguna Brahma Vichara will come. Don't do anything. Enough to see everything as Ishvara. Allow Ishvara into your life. See Ishvara as everything in your life. Connect to Ishvara as everything. See this whole manifestation as nothing but Ishvara. That is enough. Then you are no longer very subjective about yourself. You are not all the time subject. This is my view. This is the way I think. No. You become more objective. Objective means what? You see things the way they are. You don't have any kind of dogmas, opinions, nothing. You see things as they are. This is the way Ishvara wants it to be. This is Ishvara's way of running this particular thing. At this particular time, at this particular place, in this Deshakala Vartamana, whatever is happening with the surroundings, with the world and with me, with this Upadhi, whatever is happening is nothing but Ishvara Sankalpa. So I allow Ishvara's Sankalpa to manifest in every aspect of my life. Then I am no longer bound by my subjective ideas about myself and the universe and God. I am no longer Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. I don't think from my point of view. I become absolutely objective. See the Jiva as Ishvara's manifestation. See the Jagat as Ishvara's manifestation. Even see the Upadhi of Ishvara as nothing but a manifestation of Brahman. So I see Sarvam Ishvaramayam Jagat. And though there are so many Sahasranamas, Vishnusahasranama is taken up generally for the Vichara because Bhagwan Shankaracharya has written a Bhashyam of Vishnusahasranama, on Vishnusahasranama. And whatever we are going to study in the future for the next maybe 45 weeks, it will take that much time. 1,000 names we have to, enter into the Vichara. We are not simply chanting it. We are chanting at the same time, seeing, what this name really means and try to understand it from all the study we have done so far. And the story goes that Shankaracharya wanted to write the Bhashyam of Taittiriya Upanishad. And he asked his Shishya, one of the Shishyas, to get the manuscript of the Taittiriya Upanishad. Because Taittiriya Upanishad is Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Swashakha. So the Shishya brought the manuscript of Vishnusahasranama. Shankaracharya said, No, I didn't ask for Vishnusahasranama manuscript. I asked for Taittiriya Upanishad manuscript. Sent another Shishya to bring that manuscript. The second Shishya also, unfortunately or fortunately for us, brought the same manuscript of Vishnusahasranama again. Third Shishya was sent. Second Shishya went and kept this. The third Shishya was asked to bring the Taittiriya Upanishad manuscript. The third Shishya also brought the manuscript of Vishnusahasranama. Lord Vishnu was the Ishta Devata of Bhagwan Shankaracharya. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya thought, this is Ishvara Sankalpa, that I have to first write the Bhashyam on Vishnusahasranama. So, the very first Bhashyam that Bhagwan Shankaracharya wrote, even before he wrote the Bhashyas for the other Upanishads, is Vishnusahasranama Bhashya, being his Ishta Devata. He was, after all, Shankaracharya was the avatara of Lord Shiva and Vishnu was his Ishta Devata. And it is said that the first ever Bhashya written by, Bhashya means commentary, written by Bhagwan Shankaracharya was Vishnusahasranama. Therefore, Vishnusahasranama is known for its authenticity. And we, the students of Advaita, study Vishnusahasranama from the point of view of Advaita teaching based on Bhashya of Shankaracharya. So whatever Vichara we are doing now, just like we based our study of the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, on Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Bhashya, and we took all the other texts that we have taken were also Bhagwan Shankaracharya's texts. Vishnusahasranama has been asked to be taken by Pujya Swamiji for this reason. Because we are going to do the Vishnusahasranama Vichara, Stotra Vichara, the Stotras of Vishnusahasranama, and we are going to get into the meanings of these names based on Bhagwan Adi Shankara's Bhashya. With this, we will stop today, and from the next session onwards, maybe a little more introduction, and then we'll go into the study of the Vishnu Sahasranam. Om Nandantu Sadhaka Sarve Vinashyantu Vidushakaha Avastha Shambhavi Mestu Prasannostu Guru Sada Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkham Apnuyat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat.